We just landed on the moon in a Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in a Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in a Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. The moon and the angels. Made man began, hustle to greatness. Elon's on the phone, he got our wallets, a spaceship, but diaries for free. That's if you want to attain it. Spreadsheet can't leak if it ain't coming with payments now. I give the blueprint to Bill, making the moon a plan. I went from being a lunatic to a lunar land. You day to day it, you make it no matter who the man. My chart is shooting in, tell me if it's cool to land. ICOs, my coins points mushroom like Mario's. I might take the shit to Mars, my portfolio. Can bring my whole entourage like I'm Arigo. Because moon in the Lambo. Ain't a hater who presume where we can't go. Lambos pulling up in twos like it's tango. Up in the clouds with my crew like I'm Lando. Yeah, just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the samples. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. The moon and the angels. Made man who died, read the game plan. They can't stand. We fly where they can't land. Lifestyle so good I gotta write down. Trying down, don't make me pull my drive out. Made man who died, read the game plan. They can't stand. We fly where they can't land. Lifestyle.
Okay, everybody. So sorry for that. We're now back and live. I think I've solved the issue. So I think it was some issue with OBS. Typically, it hasn't really given me any issues for the last 2 months. But I think maybe because it's Easter and the lockdown, too many people are on here at in my local region in the DC metro area. So maybe that's why the internet is going pretty slow. But either way, let's get back to the show. So I'll go through and get the other video I made earlier from the other live stream and merge them so that we can have one coherent video where I'm talking about the master plan. So unfortunately, bear with me. We're going to have to slightly go back and recap what we're talking about. Okay, so for those who are just joining us afresh, let me just pull up here the master plan we're talking about. Okay, so this is from a viral post on Twitter from the Wall Street Playboys, and they call this the master plan. They talk about basically how to make money. 1, go to the best college possible for cheap. 2, enter M&A, merger and acquisition banking, enterprise sales, or tech and coding. 3, spend free time generating online business sales. 4, use online business for real estate purchases. 5, use real estate income to fund other small internet purchases. Then other people chime in. Tell me World Power, our friend, says, here's a better playbook. 1, buy crypto. 2, do whatever for 5 to 10 years, but don't touch your crypto. Add to it as much as possible. 3, retire, pursue life purpose from abundance. And throughout, give money thanks many times over that you live in a day and age where this is possible. I think that this is tougher because 1, you have to have money to buy crypto, but anyway, my take on this, let me just double check to make sure the stream is good. Yeah, stream is good. So I've been sharing my strategy, my master plan to make money. Obviously, this is different for everybody. So sorry if we have to go through this part again. But basically, I said 1, get good grades in high school. So in high school, you don't really have to be the smartest person out there. It's about skill versus will. You don't have to be the most skilled person because your SAT or ACT score, basically test taking, any form of standardized test taking is a way to measure IQ, your skill level, how quickly you learn something. But your GPA, on the other hand, measures your effort, how hardworking you are. So somebody cannot be the smartest person out there, but still be very hardworking. That's why some people have high test scores, but low GPAs. And other people have high GPAs, but not so high test scores. right? So for me, I wasn't that skilled. I mean, yes, I did well on some tests, but I would say most of my success comes from hustle, from grind, because I mean, throughout high school, I was just grinding. So I would say get good grades, because if you do that, we go to step 2, attend the best college you can go to on a scholarship, because to get a scholarship, you have to have good grades. So I mentioned earlier, the way you start is the way you finish. If you start like a chump, you'll finish like a chump. If you start taking L's, you'll finish taking L's. So you have to start off on the right path, and that makes everything else easier, because if you can get through college without having any debt at all, that's the best thing to do. Step 3, spend your free time learning new skills. I talked about starting a side business, whether it's building a website, applications, creating content, YouTube, podcast, blog. I mean, working as an intern, especially as a non-paid intern, because if you went to, for example, Goldman Sachs and say, here, hire me as an intern, Goldman Sachs is going to say, sure, wait in line alongside all the other 1 million interns around the world who want to intern with us. But if you found a manager at Goldman Sachs and you said, hey, I'm willing to come and work with you and just learn from you for free as a non-paid intern, do you think there's less red tape and less paperwork and less bureaucracy stuff to deal with? So he'll say, yeah, sure, why not? So I would say the best way to really get your foot in the door for doing anything is work for free. Not everybody wants to hear that, but I mean, trust me, it is the best way to get your foot in the door. Okay, and then nowadays there's so many ways to start new things. Like people can go out there and start a newsletter with Substack, and if they build up a large following, they can get paid off of that. That's one way to basically build up a skill. Anybody, I would say, if you're anybody who's doing a liberal arts degree in college, and first of all, I'd say not the first choice, because obviously we all know the future earning power of those degrees is pretty low. But let's say you ended up going that route. You should definitely be writing online. Doesn't matter if you're the best writer or not. I would say just write on a schedule. If you write, let's say you're an English major. If you write one post a week, let's say 1,000 words for 2 or 3 years in college, and you turn that into a blog, I don't care how bad you are, you're probably going to get some kind of following. And with the internet, you have powers and economies of scale. And let's say if nobody even reads your posts, guess what? You can take those posts and put them on your resume and say here, I had this newsletter or blog, or even better, compile them into a book. You can have a book. I mean, most people who have books, nobody reads those books. But guess what? They can now call themselves authors. So there's so many things you can do to build up your skill level and really, almost in a way, pad your resume. The next thing we talked about was getting a sales job. Now, this might not fit for everybody, but I feel like you have to get a job that does not cap your earning power. So typically commission type roles. So I talked about my experience in enterprise sales, working in IBM, how I was able to switch from being a technical sales engineer for 3 years to a sales executive. I was basically an account executive covering all of North America for open source analytics. And I had a $2 million quota for 6 months that me and my team, that was for me personally, but I was working alongside a team. And I hit those quotas each half, right? Beginning of the half, the first 6 months, and the other 6 months. And I was able to quadruple my income from making about $130K as a technical sales engineer to making over $400,000. And that was something that would never have happened if I didn't believe in myself and bet on myself. Because I said, sure, I'm willing to have a lower base pay for that chance of higher upside. Because from doing my research, from talking to other people I knew, my friends, and getting their information, and when they told me they were making $300,000 or $400,000 a year, and they were my age or even younger, I said, you know what? I mean, why not? So I would say find jobs like that if you can. If you can't, then yes, maybe have this typical 9-to-5 job with a base pay and maybe do something on the side. But if you can't, if you're really trying to hit those home runs, find jobs that do not cap your pay. So with me, I worked at IBM in enterprise sales, but enterprise sales is really good because these are big companies, typically Fortune 500 companies with big checks. So, I mean, I know one of our teachers in training who worked in a team that closed a $1 billion deal. I think it was either to the federal government or some other company, but I mean, I know people in federal sales, they make bank too. Imagine if you're on a team that closes a $1 billion deal with NSA or CIA or Department of Defense, and you take 5% commission. I mean, so commission type roles are good. There are also other kinds of sales jobs, even real estate, being a real estate broker, all that stuff. But I would say in general, find jobs with upsides. I mean, you can even take a job you already have and turn that into a job with upsides. So for instance, if you're a developer, maybe you create a application, right? That's why the App Store was so big, because developers who typically had a capped pay can now create software, put that into Apple or Google's ecosystem, and get paid on economies of scale, right? So basically, what I'm saying is get a job that pays that scales your pay based on demand, as opposed to having a job that just pays you a fixed amount. So I think that's definitely up there. That's step number 4. Step 5, after you graduate, continue doing the same thing. Start a side hustle or business, and also start investing on the side. So invest in stocks, in real estate, in crypto. So with me, my first investments, I began investing in stocks, did some penny stocks, took a huge L in penny stocks. I was investing in cannabis stocks before they were popular, and I got wiped out basically. I mean, I basically had to crawl back with my tail between my legs on cannabis. This was probably 2013, 2014 maybe. But guess what? Everything I learned there taught me other things to do. So the businesses I did on the side, I turned a hobby I was doing. I had a video camera, and I began working for free. Going back to everything I was talking about earlier, because I had no skill yet, but I had will. So I began filming. I began going to events, going to car shows, I had some friends in the fashion industry, so going to fashion shows, going to some pageants, and I was just filming stuff for free. And I was a willing and able body. People who wanted somebody to film their events, I would volunteer to film them for free. So did that for about, I would say, 6 months or so, and really got better to a point where I was decent. I was mediocre. But because I already had some initial experience filming this stuff, I ended up becoming one of the official videographers for pageants and fashion shows in DC. So whenever Miss DC wanted somebody to film an event, they'll call me to go there. So they took me to events like the Washington Redskins gala party by RG3. I went to some other events as well. And after a while, I had a nice portfolio. I mean, wasn't by any stretch of the means the best video editor, but I had social proof, right? It's basically a marketing term. I had videos with RG3, John Wall of the Washington Wizards, all these people, and I was good at making websites. So I put up my website, put up my showreel and stuff, and put some posts on Facebook, YouTube, on Yelp, and slowly but surely, people began reaching out to me, because it doesn't matter what your skill level is, there's typically a place for you in the market, because not everybody can afford a Hollywood type video editor or camera team. So, because some people want somebody on a budget. So I went from working for free to charging a very low amount. And as I got better, began scaling that up to a point where probably I'll say a year and a half into it, maybe 2 years into it. At one time, in 1 month, I made about seven grand, which at the time was a lot more money than I made at my base pay in IBM. And that's what really showed me that, hey, if you put in the time and work, you can actually make money on the side. Because I made that 7 grand from just 2 clients. Because the more I learned, the more I 80-20'd my side hustle. So the side hustle was, I had a nice website, I would do SEO and all that, basically local SEO on Yelp, on Google pages, and all that stuff. And people would just email me online, and depending on finding good fits, I'll take jobs. I'll take one job each weekend was the goal. But that month I only had 2 jobs. I had the first job was to film a conference. It was a legal conference in DC over the course of 2 days. So me and my brother filmed that over the course of that weekend. They paid like about $4,000. I filmed the videos, did the editing, burned them on DVD. This is back when DVD was still kind of a thing. I put them on DVD, also put them on Vimeo on demand, and that was something that they didn't really even know how to do. And they really liked that part because that was more of me being a developer and being technical. I knew that, hey, why not put this on Vimeo on demand and sell this to your customers and make money on it? So I did that. The other video was a corporate video as well. So I began doing stuff for free from fashion shows, events. I was basically an event videographer, but eventually I learned there wasn't really money in that. Once I had built up a good portfolio, I then realized that the money was in corporate videography. I mean, so my premise in life is follow the money. So when I was working at IBM and I was working as a technical sales engineer, I followed the money to sales, to becoming a sales executive, and I was able to quadruple my money. So same thing, whatever side hustle you're doing, follow the money. Yes, start doing something for free, work your way up, but if you see the money is this way, go that way. If you see the money is this way, go that way. So in video, I saw the money was in doing corporate videography because they would pay the most, they wouldn't really question your billing, and they were the best clients. Like the most expensive clients typically are the best clients because they don't really take much to maintain, surprisingly. So while the clients who paid the least typically complained the most. So as somebody who had a day job and I was doing this as a side hustle, that was the route I went. Then the other thing I did was minimize your expenses. So whatever you can, look for ways to make your money back. So I had a decent 4-bedroom place where me and my brother were staying in Maryland, but I traveled a lot for work for IBM, and my parents lived about half an hour away. So whenever I traveled, I would put my home on Airbnb, and man, I mean Airbnb back then, that was a heck of a hustle. To a point, because my monthly rent was about $26.50, and on Airbnb, I was getting typically minimum my monthly rent. Sometimes I would get back maybe even 2x. So I was actually getting money to a point where I would purposely travel a lot for work so that I could rent out my house and get 2x back, right? Or actually not quite 2x, more like 1x. So I'll get back my initial plus the 1x on that. So I was making minimum 2, I would say typically sometimes 3 during spring and summer season. Those were typically the most busy seasons here in DC. I would make a lot of money. So I was basically living for free, even though I was barely home. I mean, at times I'll come back traveling from work. Then I would go to my parents' place and say, hey, I'm home. I'll be here for 2 weeks because somebody has booked my Airbnb for 2 weeks. And to me, that was great. So I was basically able to minimize my rent, because rent and mortgage is probably your largest expense. So if you cut that to 0, or if you even get paid for that, that's a good thing to do. So I would say once you have a job, start side hustles. Then also start investing. I began investing in crypto, and we all know that really changed everything. Okay, so then the next step on this master plan, leave your job once your side hustle or investments are making, I would say, 3x or more money than your day job. Now, this is different for everybody, but I would say have an exit plan. So with me, I quit my job at IBM probably earlier than most people would have, but because I was kind of different. So I quit when I had about $250,000 in crypto. And to me, I said I could live off of this for 2-3 years or so. So that was kind of the thought process. And I was also very bullish on crypto at that time, thinking it would go up. And it did end up going up, right? Obviously that was the year I ended up becoming a millionaire. But have some kind of time frame. So let's say you're making 100 grand a year on your job. And let's say your side hustle as a videographer. Actually, a better example, I think, is probably looking at your monthly pay. Let's say you make 5 grand a year. 5 grand a month at your 9-to-5 job. But your side hustle is making you 10 grand a month or 15 grand a month. Then I think you should strongly look to give up your day job and go to your side hustle full time. Now, obviously, it also depends on the long-term prospects of that side hustle, because kind of like with crypto went to the moon, then came back crashing. But if you're in a more stable field, maybe like working in real estate or in, so for example, let's say you have different rental properties. Maybe that could be a way to go, right? Maybe you have a video company or photography company. That could be a way to go. But I would say in general, minimum, just to kind of be safe, don't quit your job until you're making more money than your day job consistently. Not just like once in a blue moon. If you're consistently making money, so let's say maybe over the last 6 months, you've made more in your side hustle than your day job, then it's probably a good time to think about quitting. And I would add to this, only if it would make things more efficient, right? So maybe like with me, I didn't start thinking about leaving, even though I had plans to leave. I didn't really pull the trigger until I began to see that not being in crypto full time was costing me more money, because I was busy taking meetings at work and I was missing meetings with other companies to possibly invest or to trade or what have you. So once I saw that I was losing money, I said, you know what? I have to leave because this is costing me money. Not being full-time in this is costing me money. So I would say for your side hustle, if it's costing you money, not being full-time, and you think you can make even more money, and you've already been making more money than your day job, that's when you pull the trigger. And then the last step, be frugal. Spend less than you make. And that's something people tell you all the time, but it's really hard to remember, because when you make money, oh man, I mean, your wildest dreams come out. I mean, you start acting ignorant, you start acting bougie, you start acting brand new. I mean, I can't front. I went through that phase, and I think it's a phase that everybody who makes money goes through. But it is a phase that you end up outgrowing. So, I mean, with me, I was on the world tour, I was buying a lot more than I typically did. And because typically I didn't really care much about fashion or designer. I was just, shabby beard, whatever, just get the job done and make money. But once I quit my job and I was traveling the world, I had more time, more freedom. So, and I had more money as well. Because at that time, we thought crypto was going to go to the moon and beyond and would never stop going. Bitcoin was at 20,000. We were buying stuff that we should not have been buying. But obviously now I'm a lot wiser, which just comes over through experience. But I think that's definitely something everybody should do. So just to recap my master plan, let me know what you guys think. Step 1, get good grades in high school. Step 2, when you have good grades, you will attend the best college that's giving you a scholarship. The goal is to attend college with no debt. If you don't have good grades, or if you're not able to get a scholarship, then attend the best college you can that's cheap, right? So if you're in America, don't go out of state. I mean, that's taking extra debt for no reason. Then 3, spend your free time learning new skills. Start a side business, intern for somebody, typically as an unpaid, because you have more leverage in terms of what opportunities you can work in. Blog, YouTube, newsletter, podcast. 4, get a job that does not cap your pay. Typically a sales job. Could be other industries like investment banking. That's also, I would classify that as sales as well, because the reason why Wall Street makes so much money is because broker and dealers make commission on trades. So if a company comes and spends $10 billion on one trade or investment, and you're a broker dealer, I mean, the commissions on that are probably going to be huge. or real estate, or let's say you're in business. You can work in marketing, for example, internet marketing, affiliate marketing. If you're a developer, you can build an application and an app store or ecosystem that pays you with economies of scale. So I think almost any industry, you can create something that has economies of scale that does not cap your pay. Then once you graduate or once you're working, start a side hustle. It could be real estate. It could be taking a hobby you have and turning that into a business by beginning to work for free initially. And as you get better, scaling that up. And also invest in crypto, in stocks, and then leave your job once you're making more money than your day job consistently over time. And once you think you have maybe 2 or 3 times more money than your day job. And last but not least, be frugal. So that's my list to my master plan. Once again, this is coming from this viral tweet. I know I've been rambling a lot, but let me know what you guys think. Let's check the comments. Okay. All right. How is everybody? Okay, sorry. I'm gonna have to restart the comments. Let's see on YouTube. It's acting up again. It's showing me that the stream is fine. It's not showing any dropped frames. So it should not be acting up. Maybe refresh. Oh man, that was flashy with the red bends. Well, I mean, the red bends was before crypto, so it wasn't really... Okay, I guess in a way it was kind of flashy, but I got that as soon as I had my first job. So, I mean, it definitely was no Ferrari at all. Actually, I did rent out the red Benz on Turo. I tried out Turo, I think 2 or 3 times. Then one time somebody brought back the car scratched, I think, and I stopped after that. But I mean, Turo is actually pretty good. Turo is pretty good. All right, so let me pull up the comments here. Stream is fine. Michael says, I like your plan, but you failed to mention something else. Hey, what's up, Kryptonair? Great to have you here. Gara says, I think it was solid info. Are we on Menti tonight? No Menti tonight. So tonight we'll be taking questions from the forum. Okay, I still have trust in crypto. The value of cash will go down. Yes, for sure. Okay, so now let's get to the AMA. So this is going to be a different kind of AMA. So for those who follow us on Telegram, I mentioned that we have now launched the Token Metrics forum. So thank you to everybody who has joined the forum. As you can see, it's already popping. So I'm going to go through here and answer some of the questions people have over a video. So, but first, before we do that, just want to kind of put this here. So we now have over 300 users on the forum. So just want to say, I mean, thank you to everybody who has joined the forum. It's great to kickstart the Token Metrics community here on the forum. I think it's going to be good. Let me see if I even have...
We just landed on the moon in a Lambo.
All right, so it's great to see the engagement already. And it's showing we have 611 posts. Okay, so 25 topics, over 600 posts. I'm not sure if that's correct, but if that's the case, I mean, that's pretty impressive. So first thing first, we do have a special announcement to make. We're giving away free 12 months subscription to Token Metrics to people who are active on the forum. So we already put out the alert on Telegram. So beginning, the first award will be the Token Metrics basic plan for 12 months. That's a $60 value we'll be giving away on Friday, the 17th. And then following that, we'll be giving away the Token Metrics hodler plan, a $240 value on the 24th. And then last but not least, baby, April 30th, 12 months free of Token Metrics investor plan, a $600 value. So if you've been waiting for a free Tokenmetrics account, maybe you didn't have the money, well, now is the time. And these 3 prizes will be randomly awarded to active and engaged forum members. All right, so to show appreciation, let's just do a quick shout out to people who have posted here on the intro post. So if you go to the forum here, just go to introduce yourself, go there, and basically just introduce yourself. Now, for those asking, the forum link is forum.tokenmetrics.com. That's forum.tokenmetrics.com. So find this post. So quick shout out here. So for those who don't know, right, I'm Ian Bellina. I'll just go through and basically read mine, right? Hello, crypto family. Welcome to the Tokenmetrics forums. Please use this thread to introduce yourself and tell us who you are in crypto. I'll start first. My name is Ian Bellina, the founder and CEO of Tokenmetrics. I'm also a partner at 100x Advisors, a blockchain investment and advisory company. I'm in crypto because I believe it's the future of finance and money. I also have a passion for disruptive technology, crypto, AI, and helping people through media and content creation. Tokenmetrics has allowed me to combine my interest in crypto and machine learning. Both of these technologies are transforming the world right before our eyes. Excited to see how they grow in the next 10 years. Then we have a post here from Digital Asset Junkie, Lino, I believe. Hi, my name is D. I am a crypto investor and futures day trader. I have followed and participated in Ian's community since 2017. My beginning days in crypto. Glad to see a new forum. Great to have you on board, Lino. Then we have Deepak. Hey, my name is Deepak. I joined crypto in January 2018. A few months later, I was about to leave, but I realized this is the future. This is beginning of Finance 2.0. Current financial crisis is going to make BTC a safe haven. Good to have you on board, Deepak. Slomo says, hi, I'm Geronimo from the US. I'm in crypto because I believe this is what the world needs, a more democratized system that provides a truly free market. Crypto so far seems like our best shot. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. N the F says, hello, I go by N the F in the crypto space. It's nice to meet you all. I support all types of cryptocurrencies. I also like to learn about networking, automation, and falling down the rabbit holes. So great to have everybody here. Go through and post all the different questions you have, and also go ahead and introduce yourself. All right, so with that being said, that's enough for announcements. Let's take some questions here. So let's see. Harv W says, are you considering making any changes to the neutral TA trend reading? It seems like the parameters are using for this reading are very wide, leading to constant neutral ratings, particularly on the long-term trend. Yes, so I mean, we're always looking for ways to improve. Now, the challenge with crypto is because crypto is very volatile. So we basically have to, the neutral has to really be wide. It has to be a wide band so that when we're bullish, we're actually bullish. And when we're bearish, we're actually bearish. Because if it's too narrow, then crypto can go 20% up and down in a day. And so for it to really be neutral, we have to kind of have that buffer. So, but don't worry, our team is definitely working on that. James is saying, can we enter the forum without a subscription? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So anybody can enter the forum without having a subscription. Okay, so how can we use, okay, good question here. How can we use Tokenmetrics to rebalance our portfolios from time to time? This comes from Crypto Possible. So this is a very good question. This is something that definitely is still challenging at the moment, because right now we basically give you ratings for cryptocurrencies on Tokenmetrics, and we're working on making this a lot easier for anybody to go through. So for instance, if we go here, right, if we go to short-term grades, these are the short-term grades for cryptocurrencies right now, we have, so actually we're very, very bullish at the moment. So, and earlier in the week, it was actually neutral or bearish. So things have gotten better. So Ethereum here is 83.3%. Bitcoin, Zilliqa is now up. Very interesting, in the top 3. Helium. Okay, this does not look, Helium should not be trading anywhere. Okay, I have to go through and check and see what's going on here, but Helium should not be trading at all. Unless it got listed somewhere that I don't know. But yeah, Helium should not be trading. We have Decentralized, Synthetics, Chainlink. Okay, but in general though, let's say you build a portfolio with the top 10 cryptocurrencies. You then pick an interval that you will rebalance your portfolio, and you stick to that interval. So it could be once a week, once a month, once every 3 months, so basically every quarter, or once a year, every 12 months. And then once that happens, you go through there and you rebalance based on which ones are out of the top 10 and which ones are in the top 10. Now, we do know this is somewhat tedious, having to be done manually, and it's something that will take time for us to kind of look for ways to make it easier. But what we're currently working on is creating indexes. So, for example, the top 10 overall grade indexes short term, top 10 overall grades long term, and then also creating indexes for technical analysis, technology grade, fundamentals grade, and having everything change based on different intervals. So we could have up to 16 or more different indexes, right? So breaking all those I mentioned down based on weekly, based on monthly, based on quarterly, and based on annually. Because if we have weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual, that's 4 right there. And then in each of those 4, we would then have, so for example, we would have overall grade, fundamentals grade, technology grade, technical analysis grade. So all that for weekly. So 4 times 4. So let me just see. Then we would also have short term and long term. So basically we could have up to 32 indices. So I mean, those are a lot. So we definitely don't want to start with all those at the same time. We first want to start probably with overall grade and see and kind of master that. And once that's working well, then we'll break it down into the other grades. So that's something I've tasked with our data scientists to start working on. It's definitely going to take some time, especially now, especially in times like this when everybody's kind of on lockdown, and you know, some people have lots of family stuff they're dealing with and work stuff they're dealing with, or just health stuff they're dealing with. So it will definitely take some time, but that's the goal. The goal is to create indices, and then once that's done, then we can then possibly make those available to trade, maybe via a trading bot or robo-advisor. So it's basically going to there'll be natural progressions. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned. Okay, so moving on here. Let's see here. Okay, Harv W says, are there any plans to implement a metric which predicts total market cap valuations and possibly BTC market dominance over time? So in terms of predicting BTC market dominance, we haven't thought about that yet, but how about this? How about we create maybe some kind of poll or some kind of system for the community to give feedback, and then have the community vote on kind of like how Bitcoin and Ethereum have their proposals, right? You have the Ethereum improvement proposal, or you have the Bitcoin improvement proposal. So how about we create like the tokenmetrics improvement proposal? So I know before we had feedback.tokenmetrics.com, but now that we have the forum, we're thinking of moving everything over to the forum because it's going to be more engaging. So if people have an interest in a BTC dominance prediction model, we can definitely look into creating one. But right now I think the priority would be creating an index and indices first before doing anything quite like that. Then the other part of your question was predicting total market cap valuations. So total market cap for all of crypto. I mean, that would also, I think, have to come later on. I think right now people kind of are concerned with being able to trade. So I think the indices was probably, at least based on the feedback page we had initially, that had most of the interest. But definitely feel free to show that on the forum, and we'll see if other people chime in who have more interest in that. Okay, next question here. Hi, will you be discussing Visa and the Fold card? I'd like to know some detail on it, like what geographical regions will be able to use it, and do you have to have crypto on it first? Honestly, I've not even heard of this card. Let me quickly Google this and see what comes up. Has anybody heard of this? Let's see. Okay, so I see here a crypto slate and Cointelegraph. Actually, yeah, let's see what Bloomberg has to say. I think Bloomberg has been giving me the pop-ups. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Okay, Cointelegraph says Visa backs new Bitcoin rewards card from Lightning friendly Fold. The Fold app, a Lightning compatible mobile app that offers users Bitcoin rewards while shopping, has joined Visa's FinTech Fast Track program. Okay. I mean, what's so special about this? There's BitPay and lots of other crypto cards. There's also the Coinbase card as well. So earn, don't spend your Bitcoin. The Fold app has so far been offering users the ability to spend Bitcoin or fiat at major retailers such as Amazon, Uber, and Starbucks, requiring them to synchronize their accounts with an existing credit card or Lightning wallet. Okay, so they're using Lightning. Okay, so other cards announced by major exchanges require you to spend your crypto, triggering taxable events. Our card enables you to spend dollars and earn Bitcoin. Okay, so it's a rewards card, basically a loyalty card. So you earn dollars like a regular, you spend dollars like every typical card, but the points they give you back are in BTC. Okay, interesting. Let's see what else they say. Okay, so that's about Coinbase. Now, so it's Bitcoin rewards. Okay, so they have, so spend dollars and earn Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting. But honestly, right now, I mean, I think cash is king. And right now, people should be minimizing their spending and expenses. So, I mean, it's definitely very interesting, but I personally have a BitPay credit card, and I've not used that in over 2 years, I think. I used it probably my first year I had it, maybe 2 or 3 times. And it was cool to kind of spend and say, hey, I'm spending crypto. But then I said, what am I doing? I'm spending crypto. So if this card solves that issue, I mean, for anybody out there who wants to earn Bitcoin, right? It's definitely a good idea because you're spending your dollars and you're earning BTC. And if you stash that BTC away for the long term and never have to use it, then I think it's definitely worth using, right? But I think lots of people have credit card debt. I mean, almost every American has credit card debt. So I'm not so pro credit cards. Let me see if we can pull up their website here. Okay, so it's foldapp.com is their site. So a brave new card, Bitcoin rewards.
A brave new world deserves a brave new card. Introducing the world's first Bitcoin rewards card from Fold. Spend dollars and earn Bitcoin on every purchase you make. Pair the Fold card with the Fold app to supercharge the experience. Protect your privacy and keep your personal data safe. Fold puts you in control, not the banks. Welcome to the Bitcoin earning, privacy preserving card of the future. Welcome to Fold.
Okay, not bad, not bad, not too shabby. Okay, so shop anywhere, buy prepaid cards with credit card or Bitcoin at your favorite retailers. And okay, but hold on, why do we have to buy prepaid cards with? Not sure why we have to buy prepaid cards, because isn't the card itself a credit card? Or is it a prepaid card? Okay, so it says earn up to 20% cash back in Bitcoin on every purchase instantly. 20% cash back? I mean, that sounds impossible. or rather, not sustainable long term. Okay, so your rewards can be hodled, spent, or withdrawn to your personal wallet. Instant payouts, compound rewards. Pay how you like with credit card or Bitcoin over the Lightning Network to earn even more cash back. Spin for sats. Spin the prize wheel once a day to win free sats. Exclusive deals with surprise prizes. Incognito mode for everyday spending. So it's private. Your personal information is safe, it says. Okay, I mean, it's definitely interesting. Definitely has my attention, but I mean, I myself am not really in the business for any new credit cards at the moment. And I see here they have a wait list. Like, I mean, it's definitely an interesting idea. But I mean, I would like to know where they're getting the 20% cash back, because I mean, that sounds delusional. Unless it's for a few people or short term. But I mean, I don't really know any credit card company giving away 20% cash back that will be in business down the road, because that's a lot of money. But let me know what you think. Do you guys have any interest in the card? Do you plan to get the card? Let me know. All right, let me check the comments here and see how we're doing. How does that compare to Wirex? Wirex, you can earn crypto when you pay cash. Okay, if that's the case, then it's probably the same thing. Here, let me put the link to the forums so everybody can go to it. Forum.tokenmetrics.com. Okay, your thoughts on ResDex? Resistance? I mean, for those who don't know, I was an investor and advisor to them, but stepped down as an advisor because it's basically a scam. So I would not put my money in that project. What about live chat? Yeah, we're taking some questions here from the live chat as well. It's pretty active, coming from YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, everywhere. Am I staking anything besides Helium? At the moment, not really. Not really staking anything. I've just been, I guess in a way I'm staking token metrics, but outside of Helium, not really staking anything. But that's merely because, I mean, I'm heavily invested in token metrics. So, I mean, almost all the disposable money I make or have, I'm putting back into building token metrics. So, hey, what's up, Andrew? You're in DC? How long are you in DC for? I mean, I'm basically quarantined at home, so I'm not going out anytime soon. Andrew is a former coworker of mine at IBM. He's posting on Facebook. All right, back to the AMA. Okay, so next question. Okay, from Abara Kara, or from Iman. Hey, what's up? What is your Bitcoin prediction for May 1st? Will it rise or fall? One IBM. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm not sure if you're an IBMer or are you saying going back to IBM? I have no plans to go back to IBM at all. I mean, I'll be self-employed pretty much for the rest of my life. Unless IBM is going to bring me on as CEO, I don't really have any plans to go back to IBM. Okay, so but if we're talking about Bitcoin, right now it's April 12th as we're doing this live stream, and Tokenmetrics is very bullish on Bitcoin from a technical analysis perspective. This is short term, right? So very, very bullish. I mean, actually incredibly bullish. The price of Bitcoin is under 7,000. So basically about $7,000 US. And I mean, Bitcoin has already been bouncing up, right? So about a month ago, it went as low as 4,500. It went as high as 7,200. And now it's showing from a TA perspective. So basically, in the short term, in the next 30 days or so, it's going to be very, very bullish. So I can't really give a price per se, but the ratings on this are saying we're very, very bullish on Bitcoin. Now we have different models for price predictions. So if we open this up here, let's see what this says. This also looks bullish. It's saying Bitcoin in a month will be about in the high 8,000s, so above 8,500, almost 9,000. So with that being said, I mean, I think we have to say, going back to your question, May 1st prediction, very, very bullish on Bitcoin. So obviously, these are just predictions. They're not perfect. They could be wrong. So don't go out there and make any investments or financial actions based off of this, right? So this is just our research. So if we go to May 1st, why is it showing? Okay, I think that's May 10th. So May 1st, it's basically saying 7,500 as the expected price for Bitcoin. So if you go down here, right? So basically, yeah, May 1st, it has 76.30 is the predicted price on the low end. So maybe think of this as kind of like the first stop target, right? On the low end, maybe 7,000. On the extremely low end, so the second loss target would be 6,700. So then on the high end, it could go as high as 8,100, almost 8,200. And on the very high end, the very bull case would be 9,460. So yeah, I mean, so that would be our official prediction for May 1st, but obviously not financial advice. Let me know what you think. What do you think Bitcoin is going on May 1st? Because this question is really a question about the halving, right? So if we go to Bitcoin halving, so if we go to the halving countdown over here, so halving is May 13th based on his estimates. So it's basically about 2 weeks before the actual halving. But I mean, we're getting there. So Tokenmetrics, our models is saying very, very bullish for April. So let's see if it ends up being right. Okay. Okay, so Wilson says, hey Ian, Helium is trading on CREX24 exchange for 0.0. Now, is that Helium? Because there are two Helium tokens, which can be confusing. So let me go to CoinMarketCap. Because if this can load. So this is not the Helium I'm talking about. So this is a totally different Helium. This is, yeah, so this is the wrong Helium. So I think that's what maybe, because the one we're talking about is HNT. Okay, this is a different Helium. Wow, so some other token also took the symbol. I mean, wow, so many cryptocurrencies, because I'm not talking about Hento. Hento is definitely not the one I'm talking about. So I think this is what our models were pulling in. Because Helium token is not trading anywhere. The only place I know where it's kind of trading is on the Helium Reddit. There's a Helium Reddit where some people are buying and selling it at OTC. but there is no market for it at the moment. Right now, you can only earn it from mining. Okay, all right, so moving on to the next question. Can decentralized finance platforms survive long term, or will new regulations and laws hurt their growth? Okay, so going on to more of the question. The rise of platforms such as BlockFi and Celsius, to name a few, are proving to be lucrative game changers in a space where traditional bank loans are still prevalent. I feel that big banks and governments will not let it grow to a point where their bottom line will be threatened. Therefore, can DeFi platforms survive long term, or will new and possibly inevitable regulations, laws hurt their growth? Okay, very interesting. Okay, so before I give my response, let me just read the answer here from Chetty. He says, technically, those two you mentioned, including Nexo, are considered centralized finance given they hold the funds in custody. See Delphi Digital reports about this, but I like them regardless as they strike the right balance between being a crypto platform and ease of onboarding for newbies. To answer your question, I think the recent vulnerabilities highlighted by Maker show that there's a long way for DeFi to go mainstream. Okay, I mean, so now to kind of share my thoughts on this, I mean, I love Celsius. I mean, I would say next bull run, once they have lots of money and I want a way to lend it out, I would choose Celsius over Nexo and the others, right? Because they're insured. I personally know the founder. I mean, so if I have an issue, I can just send him a text and be like, yo, where's my money? So anyway, jokes aside though, I mean, Celsius to me is the more legit platform from doing my research. That's why I have an account with them. Now, I don't really have much money on there. So, because I just haven't had a need at the moment because I'm heavily investing in myself and token metrics. But if I was actively trading or if I was stashing money away in the long term, that would be my platform of choice for lending or earning interest. Now, I would also spread the risk around by also using decentralized platforms on DeFi. So I think a balanced approach is best. You can't just be all in on DeFi or all in on centralized finance. You have to spread the risk around both, right? That's what a smart investor does, or trader. You have to allocate risk across the board. So if Celsius goes bankrupt or whatever, or if their insurer, Lloyd's of London, I believe, or BitGo, if BitGo says, you know what, we won't insure the money, you always got to have a plan B. So I would put some money in Celsius. I would use DeFi platforms, Compound, other DYDX and others out there. So I would use all of those. I'd probably spread the risk around 4 different platforms. So going back to your question, your question was, can they survive long term? I think I would say centralized finance can definitely survive long term. I don't think the big banks who view them maybe as competition would just shut them down. I think what they would do is they would just buy them, right? If anything, I mean, I think Celsius has been crushing it. They have over $1 billion under assets, right, on their platform. So I could see some big company buying them out. So whether it's, I don't know, whether it's bank, because their target is mainly retail. So I would think a retail bank, if they want to get into crypto, I mean, if I had to speculate, I'm just kind of guessing, pulling stuff. I mean, the Bank of America types, the Chase Bank, right? Chase Banking. I wouldn't really see like a institutional bank buying them unless they're trying to go retail in crypto. But I mean, we're still far out. This is more like probably 5 years down the road. But I mean, Celsius is a very good business, I think. I'm not sure what their valuation is now, based on equity in the company, but I think it must be pretty high if they have $1 billion in assets under management. So I think the big players would buy them as opposed to just trying to lobby for regulation against them, because that will take longer. it's faster to just buy them, right? Kind of like how Binance has bought CoinMarketCap. They would just buy them. Or maybe even, actually, I'll probably see one of the big crypto companies buying them, whether Coinbase or Binance. I mean, we do know CZ of Binance mentioned that they have one other company they bought to announce. I mean, I don't think Celsius would sell so early because they have so much potential, and I don't think they have any issues with money, right? But anyway, I mean, I think that's what would happen. Now, the main concern I do see is with DeFi. DeFi has no KYC, no AML. We've seen what's happened with IDEX, with EtherDelta. IDEX now has KYC. So I don't really think the DeFi platforms can grow and get big with no KYC. Because just think about this. If you tell this to, because we saw what happened with Facebook Libra. When Facebook Libra said they're about to launch, and because they're Facebook, they had the whole world watching. Every single country's regulator went in on them, kind of like sharks going in on blood in the water on an animal or a human, right? So the same thing will happen with DeFi once it blows up. It's not blown up yet. Right now, it's just kind of like a mini blur. It's not really registered on the map, right? But when it blows up, let's say we go past $1 billion in DeFi. Let's say we go to $100 billion in DeFi. I mean, they're going to come in for DeFi. Because just think about this. If you tell regulators that a terrorist can go get a flash loan without any assets or KYC or AML, trade on 50x leverage, and make money to then fund terrorism? I mean, with no KYC, AML, or whitelist, they're going to put everybody in jail. Okay, so I don't really think that's kosher. I don't think that's gonna fly. That's my issue with DeFi. I'm still pro DeFi, but if you tell that to people in Congress or to politicians that the next that ISIS can get a flash loan with no collateral, do a 50x trade on BTC, use those gains to fund terrorist attacks with no log of what happened. I mean, so I think lots of people are in a dream to imagine that that's gonna fly. I mean, I know people like to say that DeFi is decentralized, it can be stopped. Yes, that's true, but I mean, EtherDelta was stopped, IDEX was stopped. I mean, all these are supposed to be decentralized, but I think those are just semantics, right? IDEX still has a company that does the day-to-day development of IDEX, right? So that's why when New York and other people said regulate, they put them in check. And same thing with EtherDelta. EtherDelta was decentralized, but most people would access it by going to etherdelta.com. Now, obviously, there are other forks of it, but once you shut down once you cut off the head of the snake, the other ones that pop up are just tiny snakes. So EtherDelta has been forked, but those forks are not as big as the original EtherDelta was. So I believe for DeFi to really get big, to have like big institutions using it, there'll have to be some form of KYC. Otherwise, like let's take these companies, right? Compound, DYDX, Uniswap. They're centralized entities or foundations that are developing most of the code, right? And yes, hypothetically, it cannot get shut down. But most people use websites to access these decentralized platforms. And those websites can be shut down. You can go to the DNS and the hosting provider and shut them down. And people don't really enjoy hopping from different website to different website. I mean, unless you're creating something that's not even on a website that's decentralized or peer-to-peer, kind of like BitTorrent, right? BitTorrent, the FBI and different institutions shut down torrent tracker sites because those are centralized. But you can download a torrent software like uTorrent, I think Azure and some others, and those are on your desktop, and those are really decentralized. So I think that's really the challenge. So that's why with exchanges, I know in the past there have been exchanges like BitShares, even Resistance, which ended up being a scam. I'm sorry. Yeah, but BitShares, for example, that's an exchange you download on your computer, and that's really peer-to-peer decentralized. But because of that friction, it's not really taken off. It hasn't really blown up, because the more friction you add to adoption, the tougher it is to go mainstream and to scale. So it's kind of like a catch-22. So regulation will be required for them to go mainstream, but it won't really be decentralized. So I think full decentralization, in a way, is a pipe dream. But let me know what you guys think. Am I crazy? Do you think full decentralization is possible? Will centralized banks take over centralized platforms, or even DeFi? Will DeFi ever be big without KYC or AML policies? Let me know what you think. Okay, let's check the comments here and see how we're doing. Okay, let's see here. Nash, we always get a question each week about Nash. We're not so bullish on Nash, unfortunately. Based on what? Is Bitcoin price not just manipulated by big players? So our predictions are based on, so the price prediction models are based on historical price. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's just an interesting way to kind of look at the trend of Bitcoin. Then the short-term ratings are based on fundamental score, technology, and TA, short-term, and to then create an overall grade. Okay, James says no. It would shaked problems of. Great to have you here. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Stake it until you make it. What's the flip side? Hello for our members. This is coming from Wilder Billies. Recently bought some staking tokens for the purpose of testing how it works. What if ETH will become a staking token? So Ethereum is planning to switch over to proof of stake. What will happen to all proof of work mining rigs and companies? Will they just flip to another coin, or will they start staking ETH as a sort of mining? Okay, so Stefan Chetty, once again, very actively engaged in the forum already. So he goes on to say, that's a good question actually. You need to think about it from a game theory perspective. What would your average miner do? Before deciding on what to do, they'll have to bear in mind that it's a function of the price of Ethereum when staking goes live, number of Ethereum nodes in operation at go live, staking rewards and mission schedule, opportunity and incentive to form large Ethereum staking pools in light of the... Yeah, I think that's definitely a good analysis. So, all right, so question, what will happen to Ethereum miners once they stake? I think it's tough to say, but I think Chetty is right. We definitely have to take a game theory approach. So we look at the different options. So either they continue to mine and almost in a way fork and become a new currency, similar to what Ethereum Classic did. So I think that's possible. I think there's some miners that may continue to mine Ethereum. I mean, obviously, I'm no Ethereum developer, so I'm not sure how this would happen technically. But my understanding is Ethereum, in a way, is doing a hard fork to switch from proof of work to proof of stake. So by doing this, some people could, because it is decentralized, so some people can opt to continue mining the old Ethereum. I'm not really sure if they block that. I don't think they can block it, because that would really go against being open source and decentralized. So I would think most people would switch over to proof of stake. So I think you'll have different factions. So very interesting to see what would happen. Maybe it's a way to double dip. If I'm not sure how that's possible, but if it's like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV, where people basically got free money with the airdrops in a way. So, but back to the question. I do think a small subset of miners will continue to mine the old Ethereum proof of work chain and that could create its own Ethereum cryptocurrency. But obviously they would have to be mobilized and kind of stick together, and then all the other exchanges out there would have to recognize that and make it available to trade. But I think most miners will switch over to proof of stake, because if they're mining, well, I think it would also depend on their cash flow and balance sheet. If they have lots of Ethereum already that they've made from mining, then they would just stake that and just earn money. But if they don't, if they're burning through lots of Ethereum or Ether and don't really have much Ether in their wallets, then switching over to staking from a game theory perspective will be very detrimental. So, okay, so just to kind of walk through that example, let's say I'm an Ethereum miner and I have $10 million worth of Ethereum in my wallet I've made from mining. Let's say I've made 100 million total, and I'll spend 90 million of it, whether expanding, investing, whatever, buying mansions, Lambos, who knows, right? But let's say I have $10 million worth of Ethereum in my wallet right now. This is just an example. And I have the option to switch over to proof of stake. If I can stake $10 million, I think let me see if I can find the Ethereum staking rewards. Ethereum proof of stake staking reward. Okay, so the thing, it could be up to 10% annually. Okay, so this is from stakingrewards.com. They already have it here. So they're saying it's going to be about 7.76%. So about 7%. So that would give us a decent amount of money. This is annually, right? So that would be about $700,000. I mean, not bad. I mean, so with that example, I would basically just sell all my mining rigs, stake my $10 million worth of Ethereum, and make back 700 grand each year. I mean, that's basically going on a vacation. That's basically retirement. But now let's have a second example. Now assume you're a miner, and let's say you're in debt. You've been taking L's. Let's say you took an L during the Ethereum flash crash, or you've taken some L's from trading or whatever, or maybe from futures, right? So I think there are some Ethereum futures out there, and you have just like 10 grand and the worth of Ethereum, but you still have mining rigs. With very low cash on hand, it makes no sense to stake 10 grand just to make back $700. So in that situation, you're probably better off trying to mine Ethereum under the proof of work stake. But then Ethereum would be its own cryptocurrency, and the price of that might even tank, because if the network effects cross over to proof of stake, then no one is really going to be using that Ethereum proof of work cryptocurrency or chain. Now, I believe I did see somewhere about Vitalik or somebody in that community saying that for DeFi to continue doing well, they have to maintain the network effects, and they can't really have a split or have people staying and creating their own cryptocurrency, but it's decentralized by nature, so I don't think they can ever stop that. So let me see if I can find anything on that and see if there's what people say about Ethereum forking. So Ethereum proof of work new crypto. Let me see if this brings up anything. Okay, I'm not really seeing much on this, but if there's anybody out there who's Ethereum expert or developer, maybe feel free to chime in the comments down below, because okay, so here we see a difficulty bomb that they're looking into. Let me just see what it says. So it says, as a piece of code embedded in 2015, the difficulty bomb is one of two components which gradually increases the hashing difficulty on the Ethereum blockchain, meant to force the network towards proof of stake with a Serenity network overhaul. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's big. So looks like there's a backdoor in Ethereum that they can change the difficulty, making it impossible almost for miners to mine. So similar to Bitcoin, Ethereum features a mining difficulty adjustment scheme to control the output of Ether rewards for mining on the network, of which the bomb is a part of. Unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum's difficulty bump increases the time it takes to mine a block, typically between 10 and 20 seconds every 100,000 blocks. Okay. So, okay, that does change everything. So, looks like there's a difficulty bump they can just trigger to to force people to switch over. But the question is, who triggers that up? Is that I guess the community just votes on that? Okay, so, I mean, if that's the case, then to answer your question, everybody will switch over. But I mean, I feel like it's crypto. So even if that's the case, the code is open source. So people will just fork Ethereum, take out that difficulty code, that difficulty bomb, and reboot the network and just try to get people on board to mine proof of work Ethereum. So it's not really going, but yeah, so technically it would be its own brand new cryptocurrency if that's the case. So it'll basically be a fork, because we've had forks of Ethereum already with ETC, Ethereum Classic. We had forks of Bitcoin with Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Gold. I mean, there's so many Bitcoins now. So I don't really see a world where nobody will fork Ethereum proof of work and keep it going, because whoever does could possibly gain, especially if they don't gain anything from proof of stake, because if they don't have any cash on hand. But I mean, that's my take. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, let's look at the comments real quick. Oh yes, agreed. With that comment, would like to know about Nash now too. I saw that they're testing BTC trading this weekend on mainnet. I mean, we look into Nash every single time, but it's not really going to change in terms of our take on it. 6 months after the halving, what is Token Metrics prediction? I'm guessing around 15,000. Well, we don't really predict more than 30 days out, because it's basically tough. It's basically just rolling a dice. I mean, the further out you go, the tougher the predictions get, or the more useless they get. Okay. What's the price point you see Matic Network next bull run? Well, I would say join tokenmetrics.com and you can get that info. Okay, let's go back to the next questions on the forum. Oh man, Stefan Chetty in the house again with more questions. Very engaged. He's coming for those prizes already. Okay, so having a look at the dashboard again on Dune and seeing a steady increase in market share and DYDX and ZRX, what are people's thoughts on who will reign supreme in 2020? Given Kyber Network's revised token utility and IDEX were top in 2019 and are preparing to roll out IDEX 2.0. Okay, so he's talking about who will be the 2020 DEX volume king, and he linked to Dune. This is a company I haven't really heard of or used much. Okay, so Dune Analytics, this shows us, okay, this is a pretty cool site. DEX trading volume, so 15 million in the last 24 hours. Top projects or exchanges. So DYDX has 6 million, Kyber 1.9 million, Uniswap 1.8 million, ZeroX 1.7 million, Oasis 1.3. Okay, IDEX is pretty low. IDEX basically got replaced because it wasn't really decentralized, I guess because of the KYC. Okay, so DEX volume in 7 days, 178 million. DEX week over week volume growth, 50%, trailing 7 days growth. Market share, so DYDX and Kyber are in the lead, the top two dexes. Okay, number of traders last 7 days. Kyber has the most traders. Uniswap is second, both with about 4,300. Okay, Dex by volume in the 7 days. Okay, lots of interesting info here. So total Dex volume 2019 over 2 billion. Okay, so interesting site here doing analytics. All right, so back to your question. Who will be the Dex volume king for 2020? Well, I mean, I would think it would continue the way it is, right? So we see DYDX and Kyber. I definitely think DYDX would continue because it's a derivatives exchange. So people are basically borrowing money on margin, right? So because of that, there'll be more volume because you have lots of borrowed money, borrowed funds being used for trading. So I think DYDX is going to dominate. Okay, but outside of that, we have Kyber, Uniswap, 0x. I mean, I would just stick with the current numbers. Kyber, Uniswap. I mean, I've been hearing lots about Kyber recently, but I mean, I really like Uniswap as well. So here, let's pull up those two. Uniswap. Zid.network. Let me just see. Just .exchange. Okay, so I don't have a wallet connected to this, so I cannot use it. Okay, let's check out Kyber network. I've not been to their site in years since the ICO back in 2017. Sold my tokens and ran. Okay, so seamless token swaps. I mean, I think Uniswap seems to be growing very fast, and Kyber seems to be growing very fast as well. So it's kind of tough to decide between the two. Now, 0x, I would say Kyber and Uniswap are tied for second, while okay, I see. What's up, Diego? Nice picture. Diego's chiming in here. But yeah, I mean, I would say DYDX is going to reign supreme, right? So if we pull it up, DYDX, not derivatives, but crypto. So I think they're just going to blow it away because people are borrowing money to trade on DYDX. So it's going to be the top exchange for trading, and we'll have the most volume. Now let's see what Diego here is saying. Thus far, Bitcoin has not shown signs of decoupling. Equities will be releasing quarterly reports and... Okay, I'm not sure if this is the right question he's responding to, or... But I mean, I think in my opinion, that's who's going to be the DEX volume king. DYDX. If you had to ask me, hey, bet money on one, I would say DYDX is going to be, because I mean, it's the biggest DEX for derivatives. There are other DEXs out there, right? I know that like the Fulcrum and the Flash Loan stuff, but those haven't blown up like DYDX. DYDX is killing the game right now. So that's who I think is going to win. All right, next question here. Hey, what's up, Bruce? How's it going? Great to have you here. Okay, Bitcoin halving expectations. What do you think? Okay, let me share this. Okay, so from the second halving in 2016 to the top. Okay, from the second halving in 2016 to the top of the 2017 price peak, $19,400. The Bitcoin price jumped around 29x. Okay, prior to the last halving, Bitcoin is up 1,570% today, and the next halving occurs in less than 40 days. So what do you think will happen? Okay, so we kind of covered this in some earlier live streams, I think about 2 months ago. But let me just see what other people here have to say. Okay, Pedro says there's a big probability of a slow rise in BTC price in the coming years. However, right now, before and after the halving, I suspect the price of Bitcoin will remain steady or even decrease for a couple of months before taking off, basically. So, I mean, I chimed in here saying it definitely is unpredictable, but long term we're bullish. I think short term is hard to predict. We don't have a large enough sample size, so everybody who's saying something is purely speculating. But long term, we can all expect the price to increase just based on supply and demand economics. M. Hado says, I have a feeling this one will be very different from the others due to the current uncertainty and stability. It rise to about 11.6K right before the halving, then a slow decline in June, followed by a new all-time high at the end of this year. Okay, then Alex says COVID-19 put a lower expectation because of lower liquidity. I think it will take less inflow or fiat for the market to keep the same price after the halving, and the effects will be long-lasting. Man, so many people chiming in here. I love it. Crypto Possible says, I think Bitcoin's price rally will start after a few months. Harv says, it's hard to predict in my opinion. Too many conflicting opinions. Given that it's only about 30 days away now, I prefer to just wait and see. Then Chetty, man, Chetty wants that free token metrics award. Okay, see, he goes on to say, I can't see a bullish scenario in the short term, given all the following. Barely any volume 30 days out from halving. We didn't have futures at the last halving. Yes, that's true. People can now short Bitcoin as well, which is very, very true. That's a good point. There's the whole theory about smaller miners capitulating. See Rect Capital YouTube video about that. Bitfinex Tether lawsuit. Recent class action lawsuit against exchanges. Telegram SEC implications. I mean, wow. I mean, great insights from everybody. Thank you so much for that. Now, to kind of chime in with my take, I think short term, nobody knows. Short term, if anything, I would be more pessimistic. But obviously, we shared our models for April for Bitcoin from a TA perspective, technical analysis, very, very bullish for this month. I think the price, Bitcoin is now about $7,000. The price can go up to 8,000 or 8,500 this month. So based off of that, very, very bullish. Now, if we look up Bitcoin halving graph, let me see if I can find that graph. Yes, this is what I'm talking about here. So obviously this is just pure speculation, not investment advice. But looking at this chart here, so Bitcoin, this is about 2011. Bitcoin in 243 days went up 17,794%. So basically 177x or so. Then bear market for 163 days, accumulation for 47 days, then expansion, reaccumulation, then the next bull market. So after this halving here, this was the first Bitcoin halving, November 28th, 2012. Bitcoin was $12.22. So back here it was 17 cents. Then over here it was, bull market went from 17 cents to $31.50. Then all that happened. Then after the first halving, Bitcoin went from $12.22 all the way to $1,178. This was basically between 2013 and 2014. Then bear market, accumulation, expansion, reaccumulation, second halving, July 9th, 2016. Bitcoin was $657.61. Total coin market cap, crypto market cap was $12 billion. So the bull market here lasted 525 days. That's basically 2x, twice as long bull market. And the price went all the way to $19,800. Now the bear market also lasted about twice as long. Very interesting. 365 days versus 163 days over here. Accumulation, 139 days. Accumulation here was 47 days, so almost 5 times as long. So hold on, sorry, no, 3 times as long, 139 days. So about 3 times as long. Then expansion, reaccumulation. So this is the phase we're in. Now people are predicting the Bitcoin or crypto bull market to be after the third Bitcoin halving. Now, obviously, this is not a large enough sample size, but in this bull market, the growth was 177x. Then in this bull market, it was 92x. So basically, let me just say here, 177 divided by 2, it basically cut in half. So the gains were about half the prior gains, the ROI. Then if we take this, so 177 divided by 92. Yeah, 1.92. So about, if we round up, about 2. Then if we go to this, the gains were 2,938%, or about 29x. We just cut off the last 2 digits. So if we take 92 divided by 29, this was basically decreased by a factor of 3 versus this. So, okay, so it seems like it's increasing by a factor of 1. So over here, it was basically divide by 2, and this, we divide this by 3. So if I had to speculate, this is just pure speculation, not financial advice, but if it's going 2, 3, 4, maybe we'll take the ROI of this and decrease by a factor of 4, divide by 4. So if we take basically 29x divided by 4, we're looking at about 7x return from current prices. Let me just take a look here and see what we get here. So current price of Bitcoin is about 7,000. So we're looking at about $50,000 Bitcoin is what this could be. Now this is just pure speculation, right? So because this is definitely not a large enough sample size, but if that ends up being true, where it's decreasing by a factor of 2, the first prior to the first halving, then to 3, then to 4, if that keeps on going, then I think a safe, or rather conservative, expectation for Bitcoin price could be about $50,000 Bitcoin, which would definitely be a new all-time high, and it would definitely be.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
Okay, but don't go out there and buy based off of this. Do your own research, do your own due diligence. But I mean, I think the signs or the logic for $50,000 BTC sounds good. Now, on the other hand, we could say that's very, very low. I mean, because we all want Bitcoin to go to $1 million. Okay, I mean, we all want to.
My money. Shut up and take my money.
Right? That's what we all want.
Shut up and take my money.
So this model is basically saying that to kind of play devil's advocate, it's basically saying Bitcoin is going to cap out at $50,000 and then come back crashing. So if anything, a good strategy would be, once you see Bitcoin approach 50K, take your profits, man. Take your money, buy that house, reinvest it into real estate, diversify into other assets. But I mean, because it's also a psychological number. When people see Bitcoin $50,000, I mean, the press is going to come in. It's going to be on Bloomberg, on CNBC. People who have no business investing or talking about crypto will be asking you for financial advice to buy Bitcoin. So when things like that start happening, take your profits. So I think it's definitely very, very interesting to see. Definitely not financial advice, but I mean, let's see what happens. Now, one thing I do want to go back here and revisit though. So if we look at the ending price, so here the ending price was $31, and here we went all the way up to basically 1100. So let me just try this different calculation here, since we do love to speculate here. So if I get 1178 divided by 3150, it basically increased by 37x. If we take the ending prices here to get the ending price here. So over here, after the first halving, it increased by 37x. Now, if we take this by that, okay, so we take 19,800 divided by 1178, we get 16.8. Okay, so 16.8 over here, and over here, I already forgot what the, my calculator didn't save. Okay, hold on. So basically, second halving was by a factor of 16. So that's kind of half, right? So 30 from 37 initially here, 37x to 16x, right? So 37 divided by 16, so about 2.3. Okay. And if we take that 2.3 and multiply by 19,800, that gives us 45,500, I believe. So looking at it from both ways, it's basically saying Bitcoin's going to reach about $45,000 to $50,000. So, I mean, I kind of like that logic. It's definitely pure speculation. I mean, so take it with a huge pile of salt. Okay, don't take it with a grain of salt, but take it with a huge pile of salt. Don't go out there and invest based purely on that. But I think that's a good idea. I mean, $45,000 to $50,000 range for Bitcoin post halving. Obviously, not a large enough sample size, but I like this logic. What do you guys think? Do you think this makes sense? Do you think Bitcoin's going to $45,000 or $50,000 after the halving over here? Or do you think it's going to the moon and beyond and going to $1 million? Now, long term, I think that's possible, but looking at its halving, I mean, if somebody said Bitcoin's going to be at $50,000, hold on. Now, one thing we forgot to add is the time frame, because this halving here took 243 days. This bull market here took 243 days. This one took 368. So let me just divide that by 368 by 243. So 1.5 times as long. Then if we get that times 368, we get 552, which is close to 525. Very interesting. So it seems to be multiplying by 1.5. It's probably a good range. So if we take the 525 times 1.5, so we're looking at about 784. Let's round up. About 800 days for the bull market and for Bitcoin to go to $50,000. I mean, to me, that sounds pretty slow, because that's about 2 years. So really, so to kind of bring everything home, because I know I have been kind of all over the place with this chart here. So basically it's saying 2 years after the halving, the price of Bitcoin will have gone up to about $50,000. So looking at the current price of BTC at $7,000, I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, it's definitely not $1 million Bitcoin like we all think. But if Bitcoin's at $50,000 in 2022 after the halving, that's not bad. I mean, looking at it long term, we're all going to make money. We're all going to make money. So obviously this is just pure speculation, but I mean, so far in this very small sample size, it does seem to kind of make some logical sense. But obviously black swans do happen, and as somebody mentioned earlier, we've never really had halvings where we had the ability to short Bitcoin. So this is something that definitely does throw a wrench into everything, right? And into all the models and speculation out there. But I think all of us here will probably say that we're very bullish on crypto and Bitcoin. Let me know what you guys think. What's going to happen to Bitcoin after the halving, short term and long term? Thank you. Okay, let me take a look at the comments here. Alpha Diallo says, "Oh man, fire." Desiree says, "Nah, way higher." Mind Blocker says, "Is the coronavirus going to prevent BTC from mooning?" I mean, I don't. Short term, yes. Long term, no. Right? Long term, I think Bitcoin is going to fare very, very well because. Okay, I mean, so question is, will the coronavirus stop Bitcoin from mooning? Short term, I think it's definitely going to affect it. Long term, I don't think so. Because if we look at short term, Bitcoin did drop. And almost in a way, it has been affected by the coronavirus. But because BTC dropped as low as $4,000 and lower, now it's bounced back to $7,000. And I think what happens with the halving is obviously tough to predict. But long term, we think Bitcoin is going to do well, right? Because you've heard my earlier prediction looking at that analysis. We think in 2 years, Bitcoin's price will be $45,000, if not $50,000. And I mean, that would be good. Obviously, not as high as we all want, because we all want to go to the moon and beyond, to go to $1 million Bitcoin. But if you said worst case, $50,000, that sounds good. That's pure speculation, of course, but I think it sounds good. Now, the main factor why it's tough to say is because short term, coronavirus has affected capital markets and stocks. And yes, there has been a brief bounce back where I believe the markets have recovered about 25% or so, but we have to factor this in. Earnings haven't really come out yet. We have Q1 earnings coming in, Q2 earnings coming in as well, and all these companies are going to be decimated. I mean, talk about like the worst day ever or worst week ever. Because if we go, let me just Google here real quick, cruise lines, for example. All right, cruise line. I mean, they're down drastically. So let's see how they're faring. Now, just give me 1 second here to pull up all this information. Cruise lines, airline companies, I mean, all of them have been completely, utterly decimated. So this is from the monthly full. So this is April 7th. This is from earlier in the week. So here we have S&P 500. That was down 17%. So it has bounced back. This is year to date. Let me pull this in here. Okay, sorry, that's not what I wanted. But if we look at airline companies, Norwegian Cruise Line is down 80%. 80%, unbelievable. Carnival is down 76%. Royal is down 75%. I mean, to go down 80% in 3 months, basically, they're on the verge of going bankrupt. I mean, I haven't looked at the stock or balance sheet, but I mean, to lose 80% of the money, that's a crypto L. I mean, that's what we say.
I said, hold up, wait a minute.
Something ain't right. I mean, and they haven't really had a chance to report their earnings, because the way earnings work are, yes, we're all expecting bad results, but if they're going to be worse than we all expect, it's going to go down even lower. I mean, I know some people are saying that the market has bounced back. I don't think we can really say it's bounced back yet until the effect of those bad earnings have been priced in. Because, I mean, Norwegian Airlines is down 80%. So let's give them 3 months to report earnings and have the market reprice that, revalue that. And once we've seen how that's received, then we'll have an idea of how bad it is or if things have bounced back. So because of that, and because in the last crash on Black Thursday in crypto back in March, about a month ago, where crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum tanked 30%, 40% in 1 day, just because people were looking for liquidity from those asset classes. Because in a liquidity crunch or crisis, nobody cares about how good an asset is. They're just looking for money. Because if the exchange you're on, whether it's Goldman Sachs or whatever in equities, gives you a margin call and says you have to provide more capital, and the only capital you have left is maybe in crypto, you take profit on those gains you have in crypto to pay, right? So because of that, you don't really care what you're selling. And sometimes with forced liquidations, I mean, the exchange sells for you. You have no choice. So with all that happening right now Bitcoin did in a way briefly decouple faster from the liquidity crisis than equities, because equities are bouncing back this week or last week, while Bitcoin bounced back a lot faster. So, which was good, but it didn't really go to the moon like we all thought. But so far, I think Bitcoin has fared pretty well. I would say it's fared pretty well. Now, I feel like equities and stocks will get hit again with earnings over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. And once that happens and things are repriced, we'll see how Bitcoin gets affected. So I think Bitcoin could have a brief, I would say brief crash or even flash crash again when those earnings start to hit and people start seeing that, oh man, unemployment is going to 20% in America. Inflation is happening. Hyperinflation is possibly happening. I mean, when all these big stressor events or catalysts happen, Bitcoin and crypto will have a flash crash again, I think, because people will be fleeing to cash. People will want liquidity. Yeah, that's why I've been looking heavily into gold and other precious metals. Haven't bought any yet, but I've just been doing my research, my due diligence, because I mean that's what we have to do in times like this. We have to hedge against everything. And gold has fared well. That's why earlier this week our team was looking into Paxos Gold as a possible option. It's a cryptocurrency that's pegged to gold price, and we'll have the official review up on Tokenmetrics probably in the coming week. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to say, but overall, very, very bullish long-term on Bitcoin and crypto. As mentioned before, we think, looking at that pure speculation analysis I did, looking at the halving chart, I mean, one could say BTC could reach $50,000 2 years after the halving. Obviously not $1 million price like we all would like, but I mean, it's getting there. Baby steps, right? One small step for mankind, one giant leap for crypto and Bitcoin. Okay, let's go back to the forum for questions. Okay, this is from Pedro. Hello everyone, welcome to the Quant Network channel. Here's fundamental analysis I've wrote about the project and why I believe it has the capability of reaching Ripple market cap in the future. Hope you like it. Okay, P.S. At the end of the article, I linked a lot more articles. Okay, let's check this out real quick. This is from Uptrend. Thank you for sharing this, Pedro. Okay, he goes through the team, the advisors, what they're doing, the partnerships. Like I'm seeing Oracle, Hyperledger. Are these companies they're using for their services for? Because sometimes crypto companies do kind of hype up the partnerships when they're just customers. Okay, GitHub. Okay, thank you for sharing this, Pedro. So I think this was filed on. This should be filed under investing. Yeah, investing. Hey, thanks for sharing that. Appreciate that, Diego. I mean, sorry, not Diego, Pedro. Okay, next question. Atom versus XTZ. So basically Cosmos versus Tezos. Which platform has the most profit potential? At the moment, Atom appears to have exited the top 20. So do people think that the potential upside for Atom will be better than Tezos if one were to invest in it now? Or is XTZ a safer? I mean, so if we go to Tokenmetrics, let's go to the ratings. So we can go to short term. If we go to short term, sorry, meaning that in the next 30 days or so, Tezos has a market cap of 10, but a Tokenmetrics rank of 34. So right now it's basically overvalued, we think. And if we look at Atom is market cap of 25, Tokenmetrics rank of 24. So we like Cosmos short term, basically for this month of April. TA is bullish. So 77.5 versus 76.5, so it's kind of the same. Now, if we go long term as of today, 65 with a rank of 37. And if we go to this, 10 with a rank of 25, 72. So, I mean, long story short, we're very, very bullish on Cosmos, Atom, over Tezos. Now, Tezos is still a decent project. And for the most part, I mean, so going back here to, if we go back to, right, long term right now, it's really being affected mainly by the TA. TA right now is not so friendly. Right now it's neutral. But while Cosmos has great fundamentals, great technology. Now, obviously there were some issues or scandals with the founder dropping off and going to pursue some other project. But assuming the project can maintain and keep on going in a decentralized fashion, I mean, Cosmos is one of our favorite projects. Obviously, not just our opinion, not financial advice, based on our research, looking at the code, the technology, the fundamentals. But I highly encourage you to go and read the entire report on Cosmos and Tezos on tokenmetrics.com. We do have a 14-day free trial, so definitely make sure you check that out. If you cannot afford the plan, don't worry. That's why we're giving away free plans this month to most actively engaged people on the Tokenmetrics forum. Just go to forum.tokenmetrics.com. Okay, so moving on to the next question here. We get this question almost every show. All right. 100x project within the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, this is from Harv W. Are there any projects that were launched in 2018 or 2019, except for Matic Network and Blockstack, that Ian and his team strongly supported that appear to be at bargain prices right now and have 100x potential? Okay, good question, good question. Let's see what some people have to say. M. Huddle says, hi, I've been thinking about this as well. He goes on to say, Chainlink is not from 2018, but late 2017. I thought that one is a good bet, by the way it's going. Crypto Possible says, I think I heard Helium being discussed as one of the top projects. I would think Atom and Ren. Okay. So let me take a look here. So what projects have 100x potential in the next 5 years? So honestly, we would have to go to Tokenmetrics. This is why we built the platform for. So I would say let's filter based on market cap. So let's filter less than 30 million market cap. Okay, I guess this filter is not working. Okay, sorry for that. Let me... Oh, is it not taking commas? Okay, I have to talk to a developer. Okay, it's not taking commas. Okay, so I would say that. Then I would say, then filter based on grade. Let's add a filter for this. A grade greater than 70. Okay, is this... Okay, hold on, what's going on here, guys? So just give me 1 second. Let's make this 50 million. Okay, so I made it less than 50 million just to, because it looks like some cryptos have bounced up. But then with grades, so now let's sort by grade. So you said beside Blockstack and Matic. So what we like here are Tokenmetrics, Zcoin. Fundamentals are decent, so is technology. Zilliqa, Eternity. So these three. Then here we have Komodo, Horizon, Decentralized. But I would say this is the list. Right, so Zilliqa is definitely one to keep an eye on. Technology is very, very good. Fundamentals are good as well. Eternity as well would be one. And Zcoin. Zcoin is one to definitely keep an eye on. So that's what's on our list. Let me know what you think. Do you think those have potential for 100x? I mean, for us, we think the 100x. Well, first of all, I would say we think Blockstack and Matic have more potential, right? But he said besides those two and besides Helium. So moving down the list, obviously these aren't the top picks, but going down the list, based on market cap, right? The 32 million, 41 million, 30 million, and looking at all the other coins in this range with low market cap range, these have the most potential besides Matic and Blockstack. We do have some other projects under the IEOs, but can't really share those because those are for customers. I highly encourage you to go to tokenmetrics.com and join. That way you have access. IEOs are available to the investor plan and up. So be sure to join that because we have projects that we think have some potential. We've looked at Casper Labs, we've looked at Telegram, we've looked at Facebook, Libra. We have other projects we have on our radar. We'll be looking at CeeLo blockchain. We'll be looking at Paxos Gold. We'll be looking at what else? Solana, that had their IEO on CoinList, I believe, and is now trading on Binance. I think it did a 5x this week too. So we'll have our official review on that on tokenmetrics.com. Stay tuned. So if you want to find the next 100x in the next 5 years, don't worry, our team is going to be doing research on that. And now we'll be sending out more investor report emails, so stay tuned on that. We'll be emailing those out to our customers subscribed on tokenmetrics.com. So make sure your email is marked as not spam so you can get our emails and our reports when we send them to you. So stay tuned. I mean, in this quarantine, the next few months, we'll be bringing the fire with the investment reports, giving you thorough breakdowns on the fundamentals, the technology, and really the team and what we think some of these projects will do well or whether they're duds. So stay tuned. Okay, let's see here. Next question. Okay, so from Slow-Mo, could crypto survive without the validation and interest of governments and big banks? If yes, please tell me what it would take. Okay, so I did share my take here. Basically, I said crypto has survived so far, but I think governments and big banks really have to kind of vouch for crypto to go mainstream, right? They have to accept crypto. And for us to get Bitcoin at $1 million, we need banks and governments. We need some governments around the world to make Bitcoin a legal tender and to make Bitcoin the country's currency. So, for instance, let's say Zimbabwe gets tired of their $1 billion bills from hyperinflation. If they figure out a way to make Bitcoin the main currency in the country, that'll be huge. But obviously, that we're far from getting there because there's so many technical challenges. Because Zimbabwe is a third world country, not everybody has ways of getting computers or technology or even phones. But I think what's been done in East Africa with M-Pesa, with mobile money, if that can be replaced with Bitcoin, that'll be huge, right? But we basically have to create ways for using crypto on dumb phones. And it's not quite there yet, but because of that, I don't really think developed countries will be the initial place where it happens. I think it will happen in a developed country, but developed countries would really have to say, you know what, we're done. Either we're done with our local currency, with our own currency, or we're done with the US dollar. So maybe in a world where the US dollar crashes, countries can either go to the gold standard, or maybe they choose the Bitcoin standard. And if that happens, oh man.
Shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my
And
money.
up to the moon and
We
beyond.
just landed on the moon in the Lambo.
Right? So if that happens, to the moon and beyond. Now, kind of playing devil's advocate here, let's see. Because the question is, can crypto survive without validation from governments? Okay, so I've said that we need validation from governments for crypto to survive. Yes, it can survive because it has already, but it will just be in the shadows. It won't really be anything big. It will just be that hipster in the room, And we don't want to be that hipster, because that hipster in the room is not going to get us to millions or billions of dollars with Bitcoin. We have to sell out in a way. I know the crypto decentralized ecosystem, the crypto anarchists don't want that to happen, but I'm sorry, but as investors, we're in this for the money. Yes, we like the principles and all that stuff, but those principles don't help us if we're broke. Okay, so we're here to invest, we're here to speculate, but obviously more for the long term. And I would say we have to sell out. I'm sorry, we have to sell out to make this money. I mean, all the big people and companies in crypto have already sold out. I mean, all the big exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, they sold out. They do KYC, AML. I mean, and DeFi is bubbling up, but DeFi eventually will have to sell out and add KYC, AML. I mean, IDEX was blowing up and replaced Ether Delta as the best DEX platform. And guess what? They sold out too. Now you have to do KYC, AML. So I'm sorry, for crypto to blow up and go mainstream, we have to sell out. But don't worry, by being early, we'll reap the benefits and the gains from selling out. So it's called selling out because you're getting paid. Okay, you're getting paid, right? So to sell out does not mean you don't get paid. I mean, if you're in early, I mean, the whole point is to sell out and to make money, right? So, but anyway, going back to the other perspective, can crypto survive without validation from governments? It's tough to really even have a devil's advocate position because governments will fight tooth and nail to stop that from happening. We've seen what happened with Libra. And yes, Bitcoin and crypto is decentralized, and it has survived for the most part, but it's still been pretty challenging to have fiat on-ramps. So unless Bitcoin improves its user experience, the user interface, user experience, there'll be lots of friction, right? Because it's hard for people anywhere in the world to go and buy Bitcoin. In the developed world, it's easy, but even in the developed world, it's tough because there's so many hoops to jump through. Because from traveling to 40 countries and meeting people, hosting our crypto events, the biggest problem we see is people in developed world still have challenges just buying crypto. I know Binance is now going global and is making things easier by letting people buy crypto with credit cards and debit cards that have Visa and all that stuff. But I mean, when I was in Uganda, when I was in Kenya, when I was in Nigeria, people said, hey, I mean, over here, it's tough buying crypto even with fiat. Because like in Nigeria, like the currency, the Naira, I mean, it's hard to use it anywhere because Nigeria has had so many, how do I say this, challenges when it comes to fiat policies, or rather, basically, there've been lots of scams in Nigeria. Okay, so anybody who's using the Naira, there's so many, it's very tough to use, even in their own country, because there's so many people who are using it for bad means, or rather, who don't have the best intentions, that make it tougher for everybody else using the local currency, the Naira. So as a result, it's very, very tough for them to even engage in global trade or the global economy with their own local currency, to even exchange the Naira for dollars, because people think they're getting ripped off, because whether people are printing fake money or what have you. So anyway, there are just so many challenges that it's tough to say. But I think long-term crypto can survive the way it is, but it will just be on the fringes. Crypto does have to get validation from governments and central banks and big banks for it to really blow up and for all of us to go to the moon. All right, let me take some questions here from the audience on across all the charts here. Timothy says Nigeria is notorious for that. The polite way of saying scams. Platforms like Nexo are doing good things for crypto, don't you think? Yeah, I mean Nexo, but I prefer Celsius over Nexo. But definitely do check that out. Actually, I think we may even have an affiliate link for Celsius. I think we may have set one up. Let me just quickly check that. Okay, maybe not. But we definitely should join the affiliate program since we're talking about them so much. Solano partnered with Skin. Skin is doing big things. Do you really think you're not missing on the next 1000X? I've not heard of that, but let me take a look. Solana skin. Okay, I'm getting dermatologists. Okay, let me put in crypto. Okay, I'm not seeing that. I'll have to look into that later. Okay, let's go back here to the other questions. Maybe the start of volatility to come, someone's mind blocker. What do you think of Cody? We were investors in Cody during their ICO or a private sale, but I sold all my Cody. It didn't really do well short term. Long term, it seems to be recovering, but haven't looked back since then. Every show you do BTC moves fast. Would be good if you kept a check on it through your shows. Okay, yeah, you can do that. Price of Bitcoin. What's the price of Bitcoin now? Let me take a look. Bitcoin is 6,700. Ethereum is 152. Okay, yeah, so it seems to be going down. Thoughts on Unibright? I think we looked at that a while back. Didn't really like it. Do you use a console to switch video on screen? Yes, I do. Yes, I have the Stream Deck. It's a great device, very good device. It was actually a gift from Mac D, who was part of my Patreon. So Mac, if you're watching this, thank you, man. One of the best gifts ever. It was Stream Deck. It's from Elgato. Great device. So for anybody out there who's a streamer, this is such a great device. Allows you to program a bunch of stuff in it. So I have the small one. Which one do I have? So it's kind of like this. So you basically just put in a bunch of different commands, different screens, so I can switch. I can switch like this, like that, like this, like that. But pretty cool. He gave it to me as a gift, and he's from Australia, but I met him with his friends in Philippines. He came to our meetup at that time, so I had a chance to have dinner with him. Yeah, him and his friend Max. Max was the creator of that Telegram. I think Bettergram, but unfortunately Max passed away. R.I.P. So I had dinner with him and his mom as well, I believe, his family. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool meeting people in the Patreon and in the community in person. But he gave that to me as a gift, and one of the best gifts ever. I still use it to this day. Okay, all right. Next question here. The shared Google Doc stuff. Yes, so we've evolved away from the spreadsheet to tokenmetrics.com. So definitely recommend you sign up if you haven't yet already, especially in times like this. We have, if I go, let me just pull it up here. We have 14-day free trial. So someone was asking what is Tokenmetrics. So the quick rundown on Tokenmetrics, it's basically an evolution of my spreadsheet on steroids. Just go to tokenmetrics.com and sign up. We have a trailer here going through our philosophy, but basically it's right here, right? We provide crypto investment research to crypto investors, typically DIY investors, do-it-yourself investors, ranging, and we use professional analysts from IBM, myself, Goldman Sachs, Bill Noble, Paresh from Goldman Sachs as well, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and we leverage analytics and artificial intelligence, AI, basically machine learning technology, to rate cryptocurrencies. And we have customers in over 35 countries, ranging from people who just launched crypto funds to DIY investors. We have ratings and rankings, real-time technical analysis, 30-day price predictions. So definitely go to the site and check it out. If you're still doubtful, don't worry. We have webinars available. We have a long-form video as well for you to go through and learn more about Tokenmetrics. Down here is the pricing. So basic plan, which we still haven't canceled yet, but I talked about we have plans to cancel this in April and just downsize to just hodler, investor, and professional. So if you haven't yet already, it's basically $5 a month for 12 months. $60 a year. Hodler plan is $20 a month for 12 months. So yeah. So this is $240 a year. Investor plan is $50 a month for 12 months. So it's $600 a year. And professional plan is $200 a month for 12 months, or $2,400 a year. So try it for free. We have free trials for investor, hodler, and basic plan. No free trial, unfortunately, for professional plan. And yeah, webinar is over here to sign up, going through everything. So this is we have a 45-minute video breaking down token metrics. This is kind of like a long-form sales video if you want to learn more. Then we have webinar as well. You can just join this, and this one is about 90 minutes long. So learn more about token metrics over there. Okay. All right. Now let's go to the last question here on the forum. We've been going for almost 3 hours, which is great. Okay. So opinions on BDAO project. I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers promoting this token. Personally, I don't trust the project. What do you guys think? What do you guys girls think? Amir says, don't take YouTubers seriously. They always try to promote paid content. Yes, very true. It's your hard-earned money, so use your own brain before throw it into any project. My thoughts is it is a gamble. You are trusting them for many months ahead of launch with your dollars. Might turn out those dollars could be better invested right now. Very true. Basically, I said that I would urge to be cautious with all new cryptocurrencies, especially those not on a large liquid exchange. Very, very true. Okay, so let me now Google this and see what we find. This is the Binance project, I believe, the Binance DeFi project. Okay, so BDAO, not sure how it's pronounced. It sounds like bidet. And that's the thing in the toilet that sprays. Anyway, back on topic, Ian. Okay, so decentralized finance and trustless stablecoin on Binance chain. All right, staking power is 30%. So it drops 3% after ICO. Okay, so they're doing an ICO. Okay, I'm seeing some videos here. Let's see. So BNB as collateral for loans. Trustless USD stablecoin on Binance chain. Stake your BID token. Okay, this is the CEO. I mean, looks like a baby. I mean, I'm sorry, but looks like a baby. Last time I said that was for a project. What project was that? Was it for Loki? It was for some project, and that project ended up shutting down and getting a judgment from the SEC. And basically, I was right. Okay, so I'm not saying I'll be right again this time, but I mean, this kid looks like a baby. Okay, let's take a look at him. Bastian. Co-founder Croco Coding. So it's some coding company, custom websites, IoT developer. Okay, he graduated in 2020. So this guy's a senior. He basically graduated this year, and he's doing an ICO. Okay, I mean, yeah, so he's basically 21, 22. I mean, unfortunately, I think that's a little too young for my take. Marketing expert, PhD researcher. Okay, so going through all this, I mean, okay, so where's that? Let's go to the white paper. A trustless stablecoin based on Binance chain. Okay, so let's zoom in. The BIDAO cryptocurrency, BID, utilizes a completely decentralized proof-of-stake blockchain with an additional collateral-backed value token, which is 100% stable in value, quite in contrast to, for example, Bitcoin, Binance Coin, or Ethereum, which experience huge fluctuation. Okay, as settlement layer, the BIDAO system utilizes the Binance chain This means that you can also freely interact with all crypto assets that are running on Binance Chain. In future, ByDAO will also be integrated with other blockchains like Ethereum, Tezos, and EOS. This way, ByDAO becomes the one-stop shop for decentralized finance applications. Okay, so basically they're trying to build a DAI type coin, or make a DAO type coin. Yeah, well, I would say DAI type coin with MakerDAO type system, right? So they even say here the only similar system is MakerDAO, but MakerDAO is completely dependent on the Ethereum blockchain and therefore not able to interact frictionless with other crypto assets. Well, I mean, there isn't really much happening on the Binance chain. There's more happening on Ethereum than Binance chain. Okay, I mean, this seems like a BNB type hustle, right? They're trying to get points just for building on Binance chain. Okay, so they're going straight to the fundraising. Okay, they haven't told us anything about the technology. They haven't gone in depth on the technology, but it took. Anyway, let me just continue. Okay, market analysis. Okay, then now they're delving deep into it. Guess that was just a summary. But I mean, not really getting why this is needed. Blockchains like EOS, Tron, and Cosmos and Tezos gain more popularity each month. So it is key to create a DeFi ecosystem that is able to communicate with all these different blockchains and their assets. Okay. Okay. BNB is collateral. Using BNB instead of ETH as collateral has multiple advantages for users. ETH is used to pay for code execution on Ethereum blockchain. ETH is not a store of value. Okay, but BNB isn't really a store of value. They say instead of that being primary coin of, I cannot really getting this sentence. BNB is the base pair for multiple other cryptocurrencies on Binance Exchange and Binance Dex. BNB is burnt. I mean, I don't really buy this. This is a horrible reasoning. Okay, the core focus of Binance Chain is to be a fast and reliable settlement layer. Okay. Ethereum needs to complete programming languages like Solidity and Viper allow Ethereum developers. Okay. So the saying sidechains are on Binance Chain. I mean, this is BS. I'm sorry, but this does not make any sense at all. Okay, then the ByDAO chain uses a delegated Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus mechanism and can support thousands of transactions. And Binance Chain is built on Cosmos, basically. Clients. Okay, so there are 3 tokens within the ByDAO ecosystem. One token is needed as a stable coin. Another token is needed for staking, governance, and payment of fees. And of course, ByDAO is used as the collateral. Okay, I mean, so just long story short, this seems like an L. I'm sorry. Now, obviously, I've not done an in-depth review, but just if we go to the team, not an all-star. If we go to the CTO, and we go to marketing, and we go to the COO, right? Those are basically. Then let's see. This is their legal statement. I mean, I don't. Okay, so this. Okay, this is their legal statement, and it's in German. Okay. That doesn't make much sense. But okay, let's go back to the team. Okay, TEDx keynote speaker. That's not worthy to me. So for us, we look for people who've worked for large companies. Don't see any here. And University of Mississippi. So unfortunately, no. And when did he graduate? There's no year here, but he looks like a baby too. Looks like he's still in high school. I'm sorry. No offense. Okay, then we got here life sciences, strategy consulting, Accenture. 2 years basically. Bain Capital student trainee. Okay, so if this is true, then she has some credentials. We see Bain and Company and Accenture. Then, yeah, so actually, let us Google her real quick and see what we get. We're getting IG research, ICO bench. We're just getting ICO bench data. Okay, just that. Okay, now if we go to the next one, profile not available. Hold on, this guy has no. Okay, I mean, so just based on the team, I think this is an L. I mean, so where's that song? I'm sorry.
You know the deal, please don't take the L. Never taking no L's if the Lord helps me, oh Lord. Never.
I'm sorry. No offense to the ByDAO team, but I mean, as an investor, especially in times like this, please don't take that L. Please do not take that L. I mean, they're their projects up there. I mean, this is why we have the Tokenmetrics platform. Go there, look at our reports on DAI, on MakerDAO. I mean, those two projects, in my opinion, and our team's opinion, looking at the code. I mean, so even looking at this project, do they have a GitHub? Is the code open source? I'm not seeing anything here that's open source at all. No GitHub. Let me Control F, GitHub, no GitHub, code. So no code, team is not good, very, very young. I mean, yes, I know Vitalik was young, I mean, but the exception is not the rule. I mean, Vitalik was an outlier. Okay, I mean, so, and especially as we're going into a global recession. I mean, so somebody said earlier that YouTubers are talking about this project. I mean, they're probably definitely doing sponsored videos. So let me pull up YouTube real quick and see what we find. So who is talking about this? ByDAO. Okay, so okay, let's take a look here. Digital Asset News. ByDAO talks about, is doing a review on it. Cryptocurrency News. Ivan on Tech talks about it. Okay, so it seems they're talking about it. I'm not sure what they mean by the actual review, but I mean, but I would say honestly, guys and girls, please don't take that L.
You know the deal, please don't take the L.
Keep your BTC.
Taking no L's if the Lord helps me, oh Lord.
Okay, so let me take a. That was the last question from the forum. So let me just refresh here. Yeah, so it's been quite a show. Definitely quite a show. If you haven't yet already, as I mentioned, go to forum.tokenmetrics.com. Let me post this in the chat so everybody can see this. Just give me 1 second here. Go to forum, go there, join, post your questions, because in times like this, we have to stay together. I mean, we cannot let our fellow brothers and sisters take L's on projects like ByDAO, right? With a bad team, no open source code, right? I mean, no code and a bad team and a very young team. That's going to be a Sparkster 2.0. I'm sorry, and we've learned our lessons from Sparkster, and we cannot repeat them again. So, I mean, this is why we have the platform. This is why we also have the community. So anybody is welcome to come to the community, even if you don't have a Tokenmetrics account. So meaning that, yes, it's free to join the forum. So like somebody here just talked about ByDAO. We were able to help him avoid that L for free. So this is why the community and the forum we think is a great idea. So highly recommend you join. We have over 300 people that have joined this week alone, and we want to get this to 1,000 people and start the discourse and the discussions, because if we go here to categories, over here, different topics available. We have code reviews, we'll have trading and TA, we'll have live streams, we'll have investing, miscellaneous as well. So join the forum. As soon as you join, go to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself. Tell us why you're in crypto, why you're on the forum, why you like tokenmetrics, and about yourself as well. And then also, I mentioned earlier, we're giving away free accounts. If I can find that. Right here, free accounts. So the first winner will be announced on Friday, April 17th. 1 year free of Tokenmetrics basic plan. Then the next Friday on the 24th, we'll be announcing 1 year free of the hodler plan. Then at the end of the month on the 30th, 1 year free of the investor plan. So for anybody out there who's been saying, I can't afford Tokenmetrics, hey, we're giving you ways to earn your 1 year free subscription. So definitely recommend you join the forum and engage if you want to be a part of that. Now, for those of you who might not be able to, who maybe don't end up winning an account, don't worry. You can also buy one too. So just go to tokenmetrics.com. This is a breakdown of the plans as well, as mentioned before. And yeah, so let me just check the comments real quick before we wrap up the show, because it's 9:30 almost. Time for me to go and watch some Westworld and Homeland. Where do we sign the forum? I've just posted the link, forum.tokenmetrics.com. Okay, somebody's saying billionaire investor Jim Breyer drops Ethereum but still holds VeChain. Okay, I have to look into that. Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Sarah, Desiree, Zachariah, HS. Kid Daddy is sponsoring the content. His daddy. Diego's funny. Everything that glitters isn't gold. Yeah, I mean, definitely avoid that L. He looks like a baby. That's harsh. I'm sorry, but I mean, it's even harsher when they take your money. Okay, it's even harsher when a baby takes your money. Okay, so I mean, there's wisdom in experience and age. Now, obviously, Vitalik has done a great job being very, very young, but the space now is not as nascent as before. There's now a lot more competition. Now, if he was a baby, then maybe, I mean, because there have been some babies that have done great things, right? So maybe if he worked for, because he's coming straight out of college, doesn't really have the, I mean, because we have to ask ourselves, why does he deserve our money? Especially during an ICO. I mean, a college kid just graduated this month. He's probably still taking live stream classes on Zoom. He's going to go out. I'm not saying he won't change the world. He could, right? But from a risk mitigation standpoint, the best thing to do, let's say you still have interest in the project and you want to support it. This is what I would do. I would wait for the ICO, wait for it to start trading on exchanges and to be liquid. Because what if they end up just dying and never making it onto any exchange? So, I mean, I'm guessing they'll probably be on Binance Dex. Okay, let's say it's on Binance Dex. Wait 3 to 6 months and see the trading action and see the liquidity, more importantly. If it's liquid, if Binance is market making it and it's liquid and is 500,000 or 1 million daily trading volume, okay, maybe you can start trading it. But as a long-term investor, there's too much risk, right? Young team, no all-stars, no open source code. Because let's say they were a young team, but the code was open source and we could review it and we said, man, this code is fire. Okay, that could be an exception. But unless I'm mistaken, I did not see any open source code on their website that developers can go and review. Okay, I mean, let me double check just to make sure I'm not being too harsh, as somebody was saying. If I go to BitDAO GitHub. Okay, so we did find something here. I'm seeing two GitHubs. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is the wallet. Okay, that's the release wallet. Let's take a look. Repositories. So I'm sorry, but just putting up the code of a wallet is not code to me. I mean, or to our team. I mean, Paresh, our developer, who was the director of global IT research at Goldman Sachs, he would roast this project. He would be a lot harsher than I was. I mean, I gave this project justice. Okay, I mean, Paresh, he would call this probably POS, okay, and not proof of stake. Okay, so is it? I'm just seeing the wallet code here. I'm not seeing anything else. Okay, let's take a look at this other one. Okay, official by DAO. Okay, so this seems to be. Okay, so we got this one. Okay, the official by DAO blockchain, Block Explorer. Okay, so this. Not sure why they had two. Is the other one a fake or an old one? Okay, so looking at this one. Okay, this is the cryptocurrency. They got one person contributing to this with 4 commits. If we go to their insights, let's say for the last 1 month, 3 commits in the last 1 month. So I mean, this, just looking at this is probably going to fail our tech review, right? The code review as well, because nobody's really working on this. And let me just go back here. Sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place. Because the wallet, the UI, all this other stuff, what matters really is this. And this is in C++. Okay, so who's the contributor? So just the team, right? And the team isn't really a good development team. I mean, because this is what it's supposed to look like, right? If we search Bitcoin, we get the Bitcoins, right? Bitcoin has, in the last 1 month, has 217 commits to branches, 214 commits in the last 1 month. And if we go back here, 693 contributors, right? Look at so comparing, I'm being harsh because I'm comparing this versus the best projects out there. Now, I'm not saying the project cannot do well, but I'm saying investing in early is definitely a bad idea. Better to play a wait and see approach if you still have an interest in the project. Look at Ethereum, over 11,000 commits, over 400 developers adding code to it. If we go to the insights here on GitHub, in the last 1 month, 73 commits. Okay, I mean, so if we go back to ByDAO, where was I? I think the only commits they had were probably them just deploying the code. Because, yeah, they've added the code in the last 1 month, but nothing else is really there. Because let's even take a look at MakerDAO. Right? Let's take a look at MakerDAO. Okay, so they have a bunch of repos. Okay, you see here, Auction Keeper. This is the framework. And MakerDAO has a bunch of different things here. Here I'm saying DAI. Okay, so anyway, I think this is the main one. 544 commits, 28 developers working on this. Okay, so let's take a look at their insights. Okay, MakerDAO has 115 commits this month. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but there's way too much risk in that project to even touch it. Better to wait 6 months and see 6 months after it's trading on an exchange. So if it's on Binance Dex, wait 6 months. If the volume is down to 0 in 6 months, I mean, you just saved yourself an L. No L. Right? So anyway, I mean, jokes aside, hope everybody stays safe out there. It's been rough. Coronavirus is brutal. You know, I've been locked up for basically over 3 weeks now. But don't worry, it's just no more because people in crypto are already quarantined because they're always on the computers just trading or investing. But yeah, I mean, thank you all so much. It was great. If you like this show, definitely like, subscribe, share with your friends. I mean, share to everybody who's about to take that L in BitDAO. Share this video with them, right? Anybody who's talking about BitDAO, share the end of this live stream with them and tell them, don't take no L's. Don't take any L's, especially from a baby. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll stop being harsh. With that being said, I'll see you next time. As usual, Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I believe it's about 11 p.m. or 10. Yeah, I would say, 10 p.m. UTC time, but 6 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday night. Be sure to join tokenmetrics.com. Start your 14-day free trial to avoid taking those L's. As we like to say, the moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond. Until next time, everybody. We out. Since the creation of the internet, every industry has been turned upside down. Amazon changed retail. Uber changed transportation. YouTube changed video forever. With the invention of crypto, money is next. At the speed technology is growing, the future of money and securities are digital. 9 out of 10 millennials do not trust banks. The value of money relies on trust. Government debt is higher than it's ever been before. Central banks continue to print money. Fortunately, the world has a new solution. Experts predict in 7 years, 10% of the world's economy will be in crypto-based assets. Today, 1 billion people have access to the financial industry. Crypto is about empowering the other 6 billion people by banking the unbanked. Do not underestimate this. Do you wish you invested in Google, Amazon, or Netflix before anyone ever knew about them? $1,000 invested in Netflix turned to over $500,000. At Token Metrics, we help you find the next Netflix. Token Metrics users think differently about investing. They are early adopters looking for financial freedom. They are people who see a better world. A world without international borders. We believe in a world where everyone has access to the next financial revolution. At Token Metrics, we are creating a bridge that gets you to that revolution. We will help you make sound investments in this new world. The world's best investors do not rely on their intuition. They embrace technology and AI to invest. Token Metrics uses AI to find invisible patterns in data to help you invest and trade in crypto. In the past, we have used our data-driven system to achieve financial freedom. Now, we are giving you the keys. We created Token Metrics to be the only platform you'll ever need to make money in crypto. We give you AI and access to crypto experts at the best price. The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond.
Disclaimer. Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. We feel good, don't it? Alright. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the sample.